Hi everybody, it's Coach Ali and this is video 2 of Understanding Protein. To refresh your memory, in video 1 we covered what protein is, what it's good for. We also covered signs of protein deficiency as well as how to calculate ideal protein intake based on individual weight. Finally, we started ranking protein groups from the last to the best and also discussed the good and the bad in each one of those. In video 1, we examined the soy category as well as dairy, shellfish, and seeds. In this video, we're going to go ahead and cover the top 5 categories of protein remaining. For me, the number 5 category in protein foods is nuts. Common nuts may include macadamia with 8% protein, Brazil nuts with 14% protein, hazelnuts with 15% protein, walnuts with 18%, and cashews with 19%. Then we move into the high protein nuts area, and they are pistachios and pecans, both with 20% protein, almond with 21%, and of course the king of nuts, peanuts with 26%. Now it's important to note that peanuts are actually in the legume family, so they're not a tree nut like the others. So technically speaking, it falls into a different category, but for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to keep it in the nuts category. Some of the benefits of nuts is that their high percentage of fats is primarily monounsaturated fats as well as omega-3 and omega-6 polyunsaturated fats. Nuts are also packed with vitamins and minerals such as magnesium, vitamin E, vitamin B6, and iron. Now, if that's not enough to get you across the line, let me remind you that studies have concluded that nuts appear to improve the lining of your arteries, and in fact, people who eat it have a tendency to live longer than people who don't. Also, nuts may improve and reduce the risk of chronic diseases by improving your blood sugar and lowering the risk of certain cancers. Okay, so at this point, you might be asking, if nuts are so good, then why have I ranked them number 5? My problem is that we're comparing a list of proteins, and if you consider nuts in general, they are 50 to 60% fat and also 25 to 35% carbs. That should tell you that nuts are more fats and carbs than they are protein. Now, if we use the same example as video 1, when I revealed that my personal daily protein goal is around 200 grams, along with 3,000 total calories. Now, trying to get 200 grams of protein from high protein nuts such as pistachio would mean that I'm also consuming 270 grams of carbs and a whopping 420 grams in fat. So this will provide me with around about 5,200 calories in a single day, which leaves me 2,200 calories in surplus. Now, if I were to work out intensely, say at 750 to 800 calories per hour, which is pretty hard training, I'll need to train 3 hours a day more than what I already do just to burn off the calories in surplus. So now you can see my problem here. So as part of the downside of nuts, you can gain a lot of weight very quickly if you're not quantity controlling your servings. For example, a typical size snack of say 200 calories is roughly 22 almonds. So I don't know about you, but for me, that's only around 2 mouthfuls worth of almonds. I'm not going to be full on that, no way. So cut a long story short, nuts get the thumbs up from me, but with a stern caution that you've got to calorie control your servings. This moves us to category number 4, and for me that's legumes. This includes foods such as green peas with 6% protein, kidney beans with 13% protein, chickpeas and black beans, both with around 15% protein, lentils with 18%, and mung beans top the list with 24% protein. Beans, much like animal products, is a complete protein source, which means it contains all 9 essential amino acids, the building block for protein. Beans are a great dietary addition to help reduce low-density lipoproteins and help reduce cholesterol in total. They're also a great source of fiber, not just for regulating and protecting your bowel, but also helping you feel full so that you don't overindulge on things that might not be as good for you. They're also relatively low in calories and saturated fats, so they're a healthier protein source, particularly for vegans. Beans also contain several other vital nutrients and minerals such as zinc, iron, magnesium, and potassium. Equally as important is its high density in folate. Getting sufficient folate is an important part of feeling good about yourself. Folate deficiency can have a bunch of unwanted symptoms such as feeling weak in your bones and muscles, feeling fatigued all the time, heart palpitations, which could cause unwanted anxiety and so on. Loss of appetite, which is a big problem, especially if you're training for some gains. Folate deficiency can also make you irritable. Now, if you're already a handful and you're difficult to tolerate at the best of times, then I recommend getting enough folate in your diet. All right, now I'm going to give you guys a quick tip. So if you're cooking beans from dry, it'll leave you with about double the folate of if you're opening a can of beans. So whenever possible, try to cook your own beans. Now let's talk about the downside of beans and legumes. Okay, so you know the percentage figure of protein that I just gave you guys? You'll have to take it and virtually divide it by 2 because once you cook the beans, they take up their water weight. So you're left with about half the protein percentage that we talked about. For example, once you cook black beans and lentils, they'll only contain 7.5% and 9% protein respectively. However, they'll give you 21% and 20% in carbs. So beans will give you at least double the carbs compared with protein. Now, this is a problem if you're trying to manage your carbohydrate intake. I'm going to go ahead and call beans and legumes a carbohydrate. They're high in protein and minerals for a carb food. So in my book, they're a much better source of carbs compared with grains or fruits, particularly if you're trying to get lean and trying to get in shape. However, for the purpose of creating a protein list, they can't really rank above number 4. All right, let's move on to category 3, and that is meat. Now, meat is dominated by protein and water, which makes up over 80% of its weight. The balance is generally fats, and they'll vary between animals, but also between parts of those animals as well. Some parts can be leaner and made up of almost entirely protein and water. Now, meat is carbohydrate free, which means that it doesn't contain any sugar, and it can be a great source of protein for people on carb-restricted diets. Now, let's talk about common meat protein, and let's start to rank them. So as far as common meats are concerned, lamb has roughly 25% protein. Beef in general has got around 26%. Pork and goat are slightly higher than that with 27% protein. Venison is leaner, so it's got 30% protein. And in fact, the leanest of all is kangaroo with 34% protein. Aside from a high percentage of protein and nil carbs, meat is high in absorbable iron, vitamin B12, and zinc. Experts at American Institute of Cancer Research recommend eating no more than 3 servings of red meat each week, and the serving size should not be any more than 500 grams of cooked meat. Now, looking at the downside, some meats can be high in saturated fats, which can raise your cholesterol. Excessive red meat consumption has been linked to bowel cancer, so that's something for you guys to consider. Excessive red meat has also been linked to heart disease. However, this is a problem more evident in those eating processed meats such as sausages, salami, ham, smoked meat, or fresh fatty meat, which is high in both saturated and trans fats. Now, for bodybuilding purposes, I'm going to go ahead and give meat the thumbs up. But I'm going to caution you and say take the advice on limiting your serving size and your overall consumption of red meats very seriously. All right, we're at number 2, and for the purpose of today's topic, I'm going to go with poultry, which includes eggs, as the number 2 source of protein for bodybuilders. Now, it's well publicized that eggs contain some of the highest quality protein, and it's also a good source of vitamin D. Poultry, such as chicken, is also high in protein and a valuable source of vitamin A, vitamin B, and vitamin D. All right, now let's examine some protein percentages. So we've got eggs, 13% protein, which might appear a little bit low, but that's due to the fact that majority of the protein is stored in the white, but the yolk weighs quite a bit, which dilutes the protein percentage. If you limit yourself to the egg white, then 85% of the calories come from the protein, which makes eggs the purest form of protein readily available without processing. Egg white is the gold standard when it comes to protein intake. Then you've got ducks, 19% overall for duck, but if you're only consuming the breast, which is normally its leanest part, then you're looking at 24% protein. Chicken, on the other hand, contains 27% protein and 31% if you're limiting yourself to the breast. The highest protein out of common poultry is turkey, and that's 29% protein or 35% protein if you're having skinless turkey breast. Unlike meat, there's no evidence that eating poultry every day has any adversity on the body. Having said that, neither meat nor poultry have the good unsaturated fat that fish, seeds, and nuts possess. This brings us to the number one source of protein for physical development, which is easily fish. Now, you have two types of fish, both with great but unique benefits. White flesh fish such as cod, snapper, and barramundi are an excellent source of lean protein with few calories, so they're perfect for people who are dieting. Red flesh fish such as tuna, salmon, or trout are also a great source of protein, but they also provide an abundance of omega-3 fatty acids and offer more calories per serve than the white flesh variety. Now, all varieties of fish virtually contain no carbs, and they're generally packed with vitamin B, calcium, phosphorus, zinc, magnesium, iron, and iodine. The American Heart Association recommends eating fish at least twice a week as part of a healthy diet. Regular consumption of fish is said to have a wide variety of benefits, which include healthy brain function, lowering blood pressure, and reducing the risk of death from heart attacks and strokes. Now, looking at protein percentage of popular fish, you've got cod and barramundi, or sea bass, if you like. They contain 18% of protein. Salmon, trout, and anchovies are all around the 20% mark. Snapper has 21% protein, and topping the list are tuna and Japanese amberjack, or yellowtail if you like. Both have 23% protein. Another benefit, particularly for active people who lift a lot, is that a diet rich in fish may prevent inflammation and reduce the risk of arthritis. So you can train stronger for longer if your joints are holding up. Now that the list of protein foods is complete, I want to talk about a protein source that is the king of superfoods when it comes to animal products. This superfood not only has 20 to 22% protein, depending on whether it comes from chicken, lamb, or calf, but it's also some of the highest sources of vitamin B12, phosphorus, and magnesium. Vitamin B12 helps remedy fatigue, muscle weakness, brain fog, and mood. These are all important not just in getting the best out of your workouts and improving your physical condition, but just feeling good about yourself and in life in general. Now, I'll give you another clue. This superfood is very high in iron, which is yet another remedy for low energy and fatigue. It's also high in vitamin B6 and folate, which help your body's cellular function. Not to mention, it's high in copper and zinc, which will boost your immune system. Have you guys guessed what it is yet? This superfood I'm talking about is liver. Yes, liver. A tiny serving of 100 grams twice a week is enough to tilt the balance in your favor and improve your training, your mood, your energy levels, and your general feeling of well-being, particularly post-workout and for recovery. This completes my list of protein sources, and I certainly hope that you guys enjoyed the content and perhaps picked up a thing or two about protein and how to make it work for your physical development. If you have any questions about this topic, then please comment below and let me know. If you would like some one-on-one online PT or coaching, then follow the link below that I've provided for you in the video description. And last but certainly not least, if you want access to over 1,000 free high definition workouts, then simply hit the subscribe button now. Until next time, it's Coach Ali signing out. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, then remember to click here on the right and subscribe to this channel. I also think this video and this video down here might be of interest to you, so be sure to check it out.